Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted, as always, to be joined by Gregory Dole. We have just seen a very dominant performance by Devin Haney, beating Regis Prograis over 12 rounds in San Francisco. He is the new WBC super lightweight champion. Greg, really dominant performance, really impressive performance by Devin Haney tonight. What did you make of it?
First of all, thanks for having me, Elliot. As always, very dominant, very dominant. I mean, we chatted about this fight quite a few times this week, via text, via video call, weigh-in reaction. And I thought it would be convincing for Haney, but not quite as convincing as it was tonight. So, yeah, props where it's due. It was a very, very good performance.
What was it more down to? Was it more down to Devin Haney being too good, or was it down to Regis Prograis being past his best? Prograis, 34 years old now, had not his best performance last time out earlier this year. What was it more down to?
It's a great question, Elliot, and I don't want to be that guy that sits on the fence, but Haney was better than I expected, but Prograis was worse than I expected. So it's very difficult to say, and I don't want to be too harsh because Devin Haney's a fantastic fighter, but Prograis just looked like a guy who was inactive and getting older in there. Elliot, you can be a heavyweight and be 34, 35. You can be a cruiserweight. You can't be a super lightweight and be 34, 35 and be inactive. It's the way boxing works, and I think we've seen that tonight.
Yeah, look, it was great to see the best of Devin Haney. A lot of people are saying that's the best performance of his 30-fight career so far. I think it might be hard to disagree with that. But at the same time, it was sad to see such a great champion and such a great boxer in Regis Prograis fight the way he was fighting. And look, he lost every round on all three scorecards. You don't see that often at this level. Someone kind of winning arguably every minute of every round. I think you were talking about some punch stats off camera. The amount of punches Regis Prograis landed tonight was very minimal. And just look at a punch perfect performance from Devin Haney. Haney scored a knockdown in the third round. Were you expecting him to go on and get the stoppage? Were you a bit disappointed when he didn't? Do you think he kind of eased off towards the end of the fight because he knew the fight was won? What did you make of kind of the possibility of that stoppage happening in the second half of the fight, Greg?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Elliot. That's probably the only criticism that I've got tonight. I mean, us guys were chatting about it briefly earlier. I think that's the only criticism that I have. I think that if you're a superstar, you're dominating someone like that, you finish the show. And I've said to you about the slight comparisons with Floyd. They look a little alike, they box a little alike, they seem to have the same training focus as well. But that's really the only criticism that I have. I think he should have closed the show tonight. But you know what, Elliot? He got a shutout. He never lost a round. Boxing's about not getting hit and hitting as often as you can, and that's what he done. So yeah, credit where it's due.
Yeah, no, look, just feel almost a bit cheeky, criticizing the performance just because it was so perfect. But I had to ask you that question because I think that was the expectation when the knockdown happened, that he may go on to stop Prograis. I do want to ask you, we normally kind of focus on the winner here, which we will do, but I do want to ask you, Prograis here, Greg. Do you think he may call it a day? Do you think he may say, look, I've just lost to an elite fighter. I want to win a world title in another division. What do you think is going to happen with Regis Prograis here?
Elliot, I think you'll fight again, but I think he's going to get fed to someone. I think that's what happens. If you lose at the top of your game, you wait for an opportunity. Wouldn't rule out Golden Boy feeding him to Virgil Ortiz. Wouldn't rule out basically maybe getting a shot against a really solid champion or someone who's a really solid resume, and they want to go to that next level in their career and say, look, I was the first guy to stop Regis Progress. So I think you fight on. Whether that's the right decision or not, it's not for me to say. I think he should fight on. I think he's maybe, let's be honest, Elliot, he's lost to the very, very elite level of boxing there. If you're telling me that there's a guy, Jack Catterall, for example, if I'm Regis Prograis, am I taking that fight tomorrow? Absolutely. Jack Catterall's not going to do to him what Devin Haney just done. So, yeah, there's money to be made there. There's big fights to be made. But I think his next fight is going to be an opportunity against a really big name. And that's a hard task.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, look, Regis Prograis, a fantastic fighter. Look, you know, been in so many world title fights. However, just one thing you could say about his career is he has not been in many major fights when there is a lot of money on the line. And I just think before he retires, to secure himself, he wants to be in a couple more of those fights. And yeah, we'll see. But I agree with you. I do think he'll fight on. Moving back to tonight's winner, Devin Haney. It's a big, very open conversation, isn't it? Like I think we all want to see these big fights at 135, at 140 in 2024. Let's hope we get them. I think I've only really got one question for you, Greg. Whether it's Gervonta Davis, Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, what's the one fight for you that you want to see Devin Haney in 2024? What fight appeals to you the most out of those names I've mentioned, or whether it be somebody else? What's the one fight for you?
Needs to be tanked, Elliot. Needs to be tanked. I think that Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, I have to be honest with you, I think Gervonta Davis is very, very good, packs a lot of power. I do think he can be outboxed. It's the perfect fight. We haven't seen a power puncher. We thought we were going to see it tonight, Elliot, and we didn't. We haven't seen a serious power puncher hit Devin Haney in the chin. And we haven't seen Gervonta Davis fight a pure boxer who can outbox him the way Devin Haney could. It's the perfect fight. There's millions on the table. There's TV money. Elliot, I could go on all night. It's the fight. It needs to happen. But if I'm being honest, I think we'll probably be teased for another year or so, or two, maybe two, before we see that one.
Yeah, you've you've sold it to me. For me, that's the fight as well. Two undefeated fighters, two fighters who, yeah, you want to see who would win that fight and who's the best, who's the better guy. Before we finish, Greg, I've just had one more question that's popped into my head. I did mean to ask you about this at the weigh-in reaction, but I forgot, so I'm going to ask you now. 25 years old now, Devin Haney, first fight at 140. How long would you estimate him to be at 140 before he moves up to welterweight? They were talking about it tonight during commentary. They weren't mentioning kind of any fights at all, but looking at him at the weigh-in yesterday, today, how long do you expect him to be at 144?
It's a good question, Elliot, because there's two questions there. How long do I think he will stay, or how long would I like him to stay? It's a really good question, because why rush up to 147? Fight guys like Boots Ennis, Crawford maybe still kicking about. There's money to be made at 140. Teofimo Lopez is a big fight. Tank will fight at 140 because Tank's not a 147. Even if he has won a title there, he's not a 147. So it seems to be a trend in boxing now, Elliot, that a lot of these guys, they want to become undisputed at weight. A great chance of being undisputed at 140. A great chance. So yeah, I think you maybe see him at 140 for maybe the next 12 months. I think after that, it's maybe time to step up. Because, yeah, as I say, Terence Crawford and things, I don't think he's avoiding them for a minute, just to say that, but Terence Crawford's probably going to be at 154. Errol Spence will be there. It'll be a division that's a little wide open, and it seems to be the gods are rewarding Devin Haney for the time that he's came. These divisions that he seems to go into, they're wide open, and he gets the chance to show that he's the best. So yeah, 12 months for me.
Brilliant. Sounds good. All right, Greg, won't keep you anymore. It's very, very late at night. But thank you very much for your time. We've just seen Devin Haney, if we're being honest, dominate Regis Prograis in San Francisco tonight. He's the new WBC super lightweight champion. Greg, thank you very much for your time. I will speak to you again soon.
Thanks, Elliot.